6 of 10. Pretty good average. It'll be Bauer again, and Bauer going nowhere. Charles Coleman, the guy that gets to him, knocks him back another 5 yards, and a big defensive stand for the Jags. They'll get the ball back with plenty of time left on the clock here in the fourth quarter.
You know, those are, you look at last week's game, those are always hard losses, hard lessons to learn from when you know that you came out of the gate playing really well. I thought our guys were really well prepared. Our coaches, our players did a great job in the week of preparation to get our guys ready to go, and that was probably our best quarter of football all in 4 games so far. And yet, as they started to gain some momentum offensively, I thought our defense played on their heels too often against some of their quarterback runs. We were too soft at the point of attack, not decisive enough. We let that bleed all the way into the third and fourth quarter and the final drive of the game. I thought we had moments where we battled back really well, but really the probably indicator of the game was their third down conversion percentage. They were 9 of 16 on third down, 4 of 6 on 3rd and 8 plus, and those are the moments that you have to get off the field. On the other side of the ball, offensively, we did some great things early, did some great things late, but we did not play responsive football as an offense. We did not play complementary football as an offense. Of the 4 drives that we had a chance to respond after they scored, 3 of those drives we went 3 and out, and that's not complementary football. At some point, somebody's got to pick up the slack when you're not doing things well enough defensively, offensively, special teams, and so we got to do a better job of answering the bell during adverse situations. And yet at the same time, all those things, I thought our guys did a tremendous job offensively of getting 2 drives together in the fourth quarter, finishing off a really great drive to go up in that situation by 3, and probably should have been 4 had we nailed an extra point earlier in the game. But on that same token, our defense has to answer the bell. They've got to find a way to get stops. We did not do that on third downs. When we finally did, we put them in a situation where they were going to have to make a really tough decision on 4th and 7, go for a 52-yard field goal or go for it, and an opportunity to get the win there. And we had a incredibly self-inflicted penalty there by Quentin Wilfon, who is a great young man, does things the right way in our program, got overwhelmed by the moment. And as a competitor, I think all of us can understand that those things, that you're going to have moments where your mettle is really tested. And yet at the same time, we all can understand that truly hurt this football team's opportunity to win the game. And so he's got to be able to hold both those things and hold himself accountable to that, as well as myself as a head coach holding him accountable. I think, we've had some great conversations about what to do moving forward to make sure that does not happen again. I think he has taken great ownership of that, but certainly a very tough lesson for our team to have to learn. And yet that's exactly where we are. And so we've got to take the best of ourselves and the worst of ourselves from the first 4 games and apply that to how we can compete the rest of the year as we move into conference play.
JMU gives up basically nothing running the ball. What makes them so good at that? How tough is that?
Very good rushing defense. Starts up front with the defensive line. I think they do a tremendous job. Their players are very active. In fact, their defensive line coach was a GA for me at Indiana. Pat Coons, you can tell those guys play at a fever pitch. They play aggressive. They're really quick twitch for being big bodies. They're very active. Penetrate. Get penetration in the backfield, often create negative plays in the run game, which certainly is going to help your rushing defense. And then teams have been able to get runs on them. We got to be smart about how we do it. I think a little bit of their overall rushing defense numbers goes into the fact that they're averaging over 4 sacks a game, and so that certainly helps their rushing defensive numbers. But they're very hard to run the ball. They create a lot of negative plays. We are a team that we're going to work to establish the run. That's what we do. And so we've got to be very smart about how we go about that and making sure that we have a chance to block up good runs and get, two very explosive players, on our offense the ball.
You get kind of a clean slate now with the start of conference play. How do you feel overall going into that, and especially this game this week? How important is it to get off to a good start?
Well, I think I've seen the best in this team, and I've seen the worst in this team in 4 games. And as much as I hate inconsistency, that is what we have shown. To a degree at times that we were an inconsistent football team. And so those are the things that we've got to continue to work on. The best that we can ask for, right, is that our players work to get those things fixed. And if we do, we are a challenge to deal with as a football team, offensively, defensively. Special teams has been the most consistent piece of our program so far. We've really done a pretty good job of just executing, doing our part. Have not created enough game-changing momentum in that regard, and so that's a challenge for our special teams units to kind of take that next step forward. But as a team, we got to have great urgency to learn from the lessons that we have created for ourselves, right? The adversity lessons that we've created to put ourselves in a better position. If we do that, certainly we're going to be happy with the outcome.
They lost McReynolds on a kickoff return, and then Bullock got banged up on that one. Especially with the fair catch rule, is there some risk reward in the kickoff return?
Yeah, I think so. We talk about that often. What is the risk reward to returning a kick? I think our kickoff return unit is as good as it's been since we've been here in terms of blocking things up. If you actually go watch the tape, we are really close to creating an explosive on our kickoff return unit. And yet at the same time, we got to be mindful of when we want to do that. One, you don't want to be behind the 25-yard line when you get a return, and 2, you want to make sure that some of your best players that we don't put in position to sustain an injury, obviously.
Anything else? How's McCulloch looking?
Seems to be doing well, so I'm optimistic about his future this week. Very impressed with Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis has done a really tremendous job at the left tackle position. I'm reminded of kind of a year ago when we lost our starting right tackle, and Adrian Strickland stepped in and really did a great job. Jordan is a very gifted athlete and continues to show a lot of physicality at the point of attack. Knows what to do, has not made a lot of mental busts in the first few games, and has gotten a lot of movement in the run game, which is very, very impressed by what we've seen from him in the first 4 games. So don't want to say, it's probably not fair to him to say a pleasant surprise, but at the same time, certainly the level of execution to go in that moment is very impressive.
Do you have, I know Major worked with Signetti in Alabama, do you have any history with him, or have you ever faced him, or just what kind of characterizes his team?
I think Kurt's a really impressive football coach. I've followed his career over the years. We have the same representation, same agents, so I've kind of gotten to know him through the years through that. He is a very disciplined, detailed coach, takes what's given, plays good, sound football, complimentary football, does things the right way, apparently outside of, keeping a phone on the sideline trying to show officials whatever it was, the point that he was trying to get across. So I'll give him a hard time before the game on that one. That was pretty funny. But at the same time, when you look at their team, I think they play with less mistakes than their opponents, and that's been a big piece of their execution thus far. That, to me, has been our question mark, is we've had a lot of consistency in the way we've played at times, right, where we can do the same job over and over and over again, even for an entire game like we did against Oklahoma State or a whole second half against Southeastern Louisiana. But can we do that consistently week in and week out? And we've yet to yet to prove that.
You know, I was disappointed in our ability to get to be more physical against the quarterback. You know, the quarterback run game was a big part of what got him going, and then our ability to finish on the quarterback. You know, we had a couple of our better players have free shots on him, and we don't finish in both those. One of them resulted in an explosion play. And so those are things, you know, it's about angles, and against those bigger type quarterbacks, you know, understanding how you need to tackle them. But I thought I liked the way we came out. Thought we played fast, made some adjustments when they moved with a different quarterback. I thought the kids settled in, had a good stretch there, a couple of 3-and-outs. But just the consistency of what we expect was lacking, you know, from a physicality standpoint, from a tackling standpoint, from a strike standpoint. And so, you know, those are things that we control, and, you know, we're going to address those.
What do you see offensively from James Madison?
They're a veteran group. You know, they have the offensive line is returning intact. They've got some receivers that have played a lot of football. I think their offensive line, they're averaging somewhere around 30 starts across the board. The quarterback is a transfer that's played some at a couple of different places. He's a mobile, athletic guy. Has a good strong arm. I like their backs. Their stable of backs, 4, 5, and 6 are all, or 5, 6, and 7 are all really good players. Kind of different styles of runner, but very very productive. I think they stay on schedule. They don't hurt themselves. They're a big play type offense. That has the ability to score quick. So they're a good football team.
We saw some really good things. You know, that's what we talked about this morning as a group. Just the taking care of the football, some of the explosive plays that we created. The ability to be down, come back in the fourth quarter, create a go-ahead drive, but also talked about the things that we need to correct. I mean, some of the execution in the second half, the way we started, the 3-and-outs, not complimentary football. When they're scoring, we need to answer the bell. We answered it late, but earlier in the third quarter, we had a chance to answer it and gain control and momentum of the game.
You and Coach Signetti coached together in Alabama. What do you him as a coach, what sticks out about him and how his teams play and all that sort of stuff?
Just passionate about the game is what I remember. Very smart, extremely smart, very passionate about the game. Has a belief, in what he does offensively. But I've just always been impressed with just the intelligence, passing game specifically. Worked with him when I was 27, 28 years old. So it was a while ago, but that's one thing that stood out.
Statistically, they don't give a whole lot up on the ground.
No.
Talk about their defense and what the challenges.
They're a great defense all around. The first thing that stands out is the effort and flying to the ball. They can create takeaways that way with just their sheer effort. It doesn't matter what the scheme they're running, just the way they play stands out, number one. But their front seven, their front seven up front, they can create a pass rush. They're penetrators, they're vertical up the field. Their backers play with great instincts, vision. They play a lot of them. They don't just play 6 guys. They'll play anywhere 10 to 12 guys in a game. They'll rotate guys on the back end, even at corner. But they're tied together. They're tied together in their effort, and they're tied together in their scheme. When they're blitzing, they know how to take care of their buddy on the back end when they're creating pressure. So they're very well tied together.
Bullock has given you guys a big lift, especially with the runs going down. Just how big has it been for you?
It's huge. The last drive was huge. I mean, we had a play that was into a tough look, bounced it out, got us positive yards. Then we came back with a different play that was better blocked, but still there was a safety there. Somebody had to miss, made a miss, and pushed it down to the 2-yard line. Honestly allowed us to go ahead in the game. But has been tremendous. And then obviously in the passing game too, we had a couple of check downs there that he caught the ball and was able to create, positive yards, get a first down and start the drive. So, I'm not shocked by it. It's showing up now and he's getting the opportunities.
I feel like it's part of the game. We had to come back to go to work. Adversity, we knew adversity was going to hit at some point in the game. And at the end, it kind of did hit. And, it's a tough loss, but like I said, new week, new day, new team.
And talk
talk more about the opportunity you have, because it is a chance to hit that reset button,
Yes, sir.
nothing in the conference, and
Yes, sir.
everything's ahead of you.
Well, what I have to say about that is it's like a fresh start because we're starting conference. So from here on out, we have to be on our cues, our top stuff.
JMU hardly gives up anything against the run. How big a challenge is that, and what do you see when you watch them?
Well, the biggest challenge I'll say, they got guys just like we got guys. So it comes down to who won it the most.
How are you feeling physically? I know you took a little shot there just on Saturday.
I'm good. Just a little soreness, trying to get the soreness out. That's it. Everything else good.
Talk about how your role is expanded in this offense and the opportunities you have to make an impact here.
I could say people go down, so everybody get an opportunity. So it's just about what you do when you get your opportunity. I could say my role expanded a little bit because back wise we kind of down a little bit, and we have to put people out there to make plays, and I feel like I'm one of those guys that can make plays when it counts, when it's crunch time.